Rev up your engines!
Jay Wilburn, he says, Scotty, I'm getting Facebook advertising on the Eco OBD Fuel Saver chip. Most of the views are positive. What do you think? That stuff's scams. It's always been scams. Why do you think they're advertising on Facebook? Unfortunately, I see this all the time on the internet. You go to a website, and then they want to make money, so they stick advertisements for anything. They don't even care if the stuff works. I even got scammed once on one of those things. I had the 10 best tools. And number 2 was this little keychain thing that beeped so you could find where your stuff is lost, like keys or phone or whatever. It would also broadcast where your thing was. So you'd look at your phone and it would say, oh, your luggage is in Detroit, right? So, oh, they rated it one of the best 10 tools. I went out and bought one. It was like 59 bucks. I tried it. Stupid thing didn't work 90% of the time. Didn't work. Put it in, wouldn't do anything. And it was rated as one of the top ones. You can't believe any of that advertising you see anymore these days. You just can't, because unfortunately, many people have no ethics. They'll take any money they can possibly get and then say some product works, whether it works or not. That's why I'm here. That's why I test out things. If any of you people are watching who actually send me a product and I don't make a video on it, realize that that's because your product isn't any good. And that's why I didn't make a video. So please stop emailing saying, when are you going to make a video of your product? Because if it's no good, I'm not going to make one. JMTM 1096 says, Scotty, help. I got an 05 Camry automatic, 140,000 miles. Sometimes the car will lunge, move forward when I put it into park. Odds are your parking prawl is wearing out. I've seen it go on those things. That thing's 15 years old. When you stop your car and put it into park, there's a little prawl gear, and it moves in to the transmission and it locks it in place. If you put it in park and it lunges forward, that means that is probably wearing out. Rather than have the whole transmission torn apart, which costs a fortune, my advice is this. When you come to a stop, don't put it in park. Come to a stop with your foot on the brake, pull on the emergency brake, then put it in park. The emergency brake will hold it in place. So then when you put it in park, there's no strain on the prawl. And actually, that's a better system for all people because it's safer. Emergency brakes are strong. They're made to hold the car, especially when it's sitting in place and not moving. They're not that great for stopping you in an emergency. You ever try, just through curiosity, go to an empty parking lot and drive your car 30 miles an hour and then put it in neutral and then put the emergency brake on? You see, it takes a while to stop your car. They're not that great at stopping them, but they're really good at holding them in place. So put the parking brake on first, then put it in park. It'll stop doing it. Lucas 713. Lucas says, Scotty Kilmer, what do you think about the 1986 Toyota Supra as a project car? 34 years old. That's an old car. They're nice cars back in the day. And if you want a project car and you get it cheap, realize that you don't want to put a whole bunch of money into it because even in really excellent shape, they're not worth all that much money. A lot of guys like them, they turn them into drifter cars. If you're thinking about fixing it up and making it look like new, I wouldn't advise doing it. But if you want it as a toy, numero uno, only buy one that still runs and drives down the road. Because I've had some customers buy ones that didn't run. They brought it to me, and I just looked at them and started checking out, and the electronics were fried, and some of the stuff like the ECM and some of the fuel injection parts were no longer made by Toyota, so you couldn't do anything except gamble with used parts, and used parts on what? A 34-year-old car are not the smartest things on earth to do. 34-year-old used parts, how do you know if they're good? Especially when the computer parts didn't shift good, I wouldn't even buy it. But if it runs and you want a little toy, go right ahead. Joel says, Scotty, when I start my car, a couple of seconds, it runs and it shuts off. There's a bunch of things that can do it, but the most common things are, if you got a bad ignition switch, you start it, the car starts because it's getting power with the ignition in the on position with it starting the starter, but then when you let go and it goes to the run position, it shorts out and doesn't give power. So check that. That's a very common thing. So is a bigger vacuum leak. Crank the engine, it's spraying a bunch of gas, it'll start, but as soon as it starts idling, sucks too much air and it conks out. Those are the most common things. You want to pray that it's not the computer starting to go out or a wiring short or something. But check those two things first because those are the most common ones. Mazda 85. Hey, Scotty, I got a 1985 Mazda RX-7. Wonder why it won't start. That's a rotary engine. Those things were notorious for flooding out. They have that Wanko rotary engine, and instead of pistons going up and down, they have a triangular rotor that spins around. Each corner of the triangle, there's what's called an apex seal, and that's what seals it. Instead of piston rings, it has an apex seal. And those stupid things broke all the time, and they'd flood the engine out. First thing, pull out spark plugs. They're all wet, the engine's flooded out. And a lot of times it's as simple as take the fuel pump fuse out so it doesn't pump any fuel and crank it for maybe 2 minutes, then let it air dry with the spark plugs out of it, and then see if it starts. Try new spark plugs too. Those are notorious flooding out engines. I've worked on so many of them back in the day. Now I don't work on them much because the Wankel rotary engines are pretty much a failure. They tried those RX-8s and then they were failures too because they burned oil and the engines blew up. No, I don't think anybody's ever going to come out with a Wankel engine again. They put out a lot of power for their size. They could run on any kind of fuel, but they had all the oil burning problems, and for an engine as small as they were pretty much gas hogs. Mazda Cosmos, they were called. Some of those guys were getting 7 miles a gallon in those things. For a little tiny engine, this was just ridiculous. The new ones were better than that, but still, they were all gas hogs. 2020 says, hey Scotty, what are your thoughts on a 2001 Lexus IS 300? Would it be a good weekend toy? Yes, if it's in good shape. Realize, what are you talking about now? You're talking about a 19-year-old car. It's an old car. Regardless of whatever the mileage says, don't pay much for it because it's an old car and you're getting no guarantee on the thing. You can get aftermarket parts for it for a lot of stuff. It don't cost all that much. And you want it for a weekend toy, a nice car to drive around? That's probably the perfect one. Always road tested. And pay a mechanic like me to check it out, of course, before you buy it, because our little machines, we plug them in. They give all kinds of data that we can analyze and tell you, oh, no, this is a lemon, stay away. Oh, yeah, it's in good shape, and then buy it. Madman says, do loud motorcycle pipes save lives? And are those motorcycle safety courses worth it? Okay, first thing, people argue back and forth, oh, I hate those loud motorcycles. To some extent, a loud motorcycle does save lives, because I'm driving in my wife's big Lexus. You see idiots that are in the second lane to the right. They'll make a U-turn in front of you, going over 2 lanes of traffic. People drive like idiots. They don't look, they don't care, and often they don't see a motorcycle because it's small, and they don't notice it. But if they hear rom, then at least maybe they're going to look, you know. I would not be seen dead. Well, maybe I would be seen dead riding an electric motorcycle. I know they're working on electric motorcycles, but if you had a motorcycle that was electric, would make no noise at all, and you're by next to somebody, odds are they're going to pull and smash right into you. Noise does do it to some extent. Motorcycle safety courses, of course, they're worth it. They teach you all kinds of stuff, especially if you're a newbie. I mean, I learned to drive motorcycles on a chopped 650 BSA Lightning. At the time, it was one of the fastest motorcycles in the world. And I know it was chops. It was sticking way out. You know? I'm lucky I'm still here and I didn't kill myself. I didn't have any lessons. The guy who sold it to me, I bought it used, took me for a ride around the block and says, it's 1 up and 3 down. That's the gear shift. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all the lessons I got. So they are worth it. Take one if you're going to learn to drive motorcycles. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.